master? Well, what was your
I'll tell
education
you, I got
in?
a bachelor's degree. I got a bachelor's of science in psychology from Towson University, and
Nice.
master's in mental health counseling, master's of the arts in
That
mental
does
health
give.
counseling from Hofstra University.
So
Right. So
psychology
that can
and
that can be
psychology and
used
mental
in pretty
health.
much any
I
conversation.
like people.
I was guessing maybe political science.
What's up?
I was. Are we? Yeah,
Oh
we're
yeah,
good.
you're
I
back.
thought I heard a dropout. I was thinking political science, or something like that, because
No, I knew.
but psychology is like another one of those things where you tend to have a deep perspective and
Psychology is
look
a
at.
pseudoscience. It's a soft science. It's not going to be. There's nothing in psychology and counseling in general. There's nothing really concrete. There's many different ways to help somebody who's mentally ill. And
Mm,
you just got to find what works for the person. You also got to find what techniques work for you. So I'm
Mhm.
always trying to learn and grasp different things. And I
mm,
also have a varied an eclectic group of friends. Will can tell you, like,
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
me as well. I have
yeah,
also a very
my
eclectic
friends
group of friends.
scour the world, and I think, and not scour the world, but it scours all different races and ethnicities. And it comes from the fact that I think that one, I went to private school growing up, and I was around just people of different races. For a very, very long time. And two, by the time I was 16, I had been to England, France, Italy, Greece, Australia, Mexico, and Canada a couple of times. So I was fortunate enough to see different people from different walks of life literally around the world. And I came to this conclusion very, very quickly that we're all the fucking same. Can I curse?
oh yeah.
Okay,
I
yeah,
mean,
we're all yeah.
I had that experience as well.
Yeah, we're all the fucking same. Like we don't like I don't need to judge you about some of the things you do. More importantly, I need to learn from you
Right.
and
Yeah.
I mean,
experience different things. Like I
Yep.
stayed with a French family for like 3 weeks and they only spoke French and I didn't know a lick of French, but I fucking learned for those 3 days, how to communicate and get around. And I've always kind of had a knack for learning and learning new things and people fascinate me. That's why I got into the business of psychology and mental health.
yeah. I think there's a lot of like, okay, guys, I want to ask your opinion on this. We haven't even gotten to our first question, but
We'll get there.
I think, and Will, you're gonna be mad at me about something I'm gonna tell you later. Um, America, because I've gone to Europe multiple times,
I need
and
to go back to Europe. I love that fucking place.
people are different because what I realize when I come, and this is a bold statement. I mean, it's true. People just aren't gonna like it because America is a melting pot. It tends to be one of the most racist places that you can live because there's so many different
Yeah.
cultures. You have to deal
Yes.
with it. It's in front of you. Um, I forgot where I was going with it, but basically, actually, I do remember. A lot of the stigmas and stereotypes and racism, yes, it does exist, but I think we internalize it way too much as Americans. Um, with these different things because you realize, we're actually not that different. When I started working in corporate America, it was definitely somewhat of a shock, culture shock, but I started learning, and I was like, people started becoming. I started making some great friends,
Mm-hmm.
but it's prior to that where all of these inner stigmas and things that we internalize just from growing up in this country and in media and how it's pushed this, that, and the third. It shapes your mind to think certain things about certain people,
Mhm.
with
Yeah.
these different kind of labels and things and rushes to judgment, conceptions about people and things of that nature. So I think once you actually start integrating and you meet different types of people, Asian, white, black, Indian, Spanish, you start realizing you have a lot more in common than you actually do that's different.
Do a part. Yeah. Yeah. A question for you, Christian. Did
Yeah.
you, well, you said you've been to Europe multiple times. Was that through an organization by any chance?
No, no,
Oh, okay.
no.
I went, and a little story here. That's how I was able to go to Europe. I went through this government funded organization called People to People Student Ambassadors. I don't know if anybody's ever
Cool.
heard of it. Essentially, what happens is you get nominated based on like your test scores or from somebody else in the program. Like I don't know who nominated me for People to People the first time, but essentially they find you and they offer you to go with a group of people from like the New York, Long Island area, from all these other places. All the other states have People to People student bachelors as well to go see different parts of the world. So from what I got from it and when I learned the history of it, that People to People student bachelors was founded by Eisenhower. Eisenhower brought together some of the most powerful people, including Walt Disney, of his time together to help fund this program. The idea of the program was that if we can get the youth to travel around the world and get to know each other, we can help further foster world peace among the nations, because you'll realize, like you said, Christian, that we're not really that different from each other. We're all pretty much the same. And so this thing has been people's been going on forever. That's how I was able to go to Europe and Australia. And I had a letter, my mom probably has it, from like a member of parliament recruiting, like, come to Europe, blah blah blah. Like, it was pretty dope, and being able to see all those things at such a young age, because once you're 18 you phase out.
I think language has a lot to do with it too.
That it does, but you can get around language really quickly.
Well, I mean, like, just the misconceptions about people. The problem is you're not communicating. I went to Spain, and I see an Arabic guy ethnically and a black woman speaking fluent Spanish having a conversation with each other.
Yeah.
That's not something you see here. Not, you know what I mean? It's like, whoa. The first time, because I went to Spain twice.
Yeah.
And I did some traveling while I was there, bouncing around. But I saw things like that, and I was like, oh, this makes for much more harmonic kind of outcome. Is just language. People speaking the same language and communicating, and that puts a lot of whatever negativity there is to rest, because now you're having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my observation of going abroad.
I need to travel more. I've only been to Jamaica. I've only been to Jamaica, and that was for spring break. And I'm not gonna say it doesn't count, but it wasn't the best representation of traveling abroad.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you probably said
they speak English there. They speak English there.
They do speak really good English. And a lot of Bob Marley on the resort. Outside the resort, they're like,
there was just
fucking
posters.
Bob Marley.
There's just posters of Bob Marley everywhere.
No, it's just like, it was weird.
It's like so typical.
On the resort, they're like, oh, Americans just want to hear Bob Marley. It's what they think. Off the resort,
that's kind of probably what a lot of Americans think.
Yeah, it is. But like off the resort, there was this it was this local whatever.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of Americans actually think like Africa is like
bunch of
like
Bob Marley's
like the Lion King. They don't realize there's actually
Actual
like
music?
there's cities and people. It's
not all a giant Serengeti like.
African music is. And the thing is, I listen to some African music. It's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah,
it's awesome. Yeah, my Spotify playlist. I got a whole playlist full of African music.
I'm happy that African music in whatever form is just being now in the most modern contemporary form is Afrobeats.
Yeah, dude.
10 years ago that
so
it wasn't really being represented, not in mainstream, over here in this hemisphere, it wasn't really represented, but now it is. So I think it's a beautiful thing. I think the world is becoming more globalized to the extent where you hear Bad Bunny, who's not speaking a lick of English,
but is fluent in English, can speak it.
Hell of a wrestler.
He can, but he's
hell of a wrestler,
on the songs he's speaking completely Spanish.
Artist of the year
on a New York English-speaking hip-hop station,
selling out Yankee Stadium.
You know what I'm saying? And people are like, "Yo, like I don't even know what he's saying, but the cadence is crazy and it just feels good."
He is on a world tour. He has sold out Yankee Stadium. He sold out Allegiant Stadium. He sold out AT&T Stadium, where the Dallas Cowboys.
People talk about Drake, but Bad Bunny is he's like Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
Like he's
he is.
Global.
It's the hair goes like this too.
It's the hair. It is the hair.
He's global. When I say Mickey, because everybody knows what Mickey Mouse is.
Yeah.
Bad Bunny is like one of the biggest artists in the world.
One of the best marketed artists
and
ever.
Did it fairly quickly. I'd like to pick your brain on that. I did not know that he was marketed so well. It was just happening. I didn't.
He's only been around since 2013, 2014 is when he was underground. I only know a lot of his stuff because I do trivia night on Thursday nights, and one of the trivia nights we did was Bad Bunny trivia, so I had to look up a bunch of crap about him.
Yeah,
there you go.
So he's been around for less than a decade. Been
my
popular
friend was
for maybe 2 years.
My friend was on an elevator with him. Didn't know who this is, like right before Bad Bunny
shit got real.
Became Bad Bunny. He friends in a steel pan band. He was opening for another band that was playing, and he was on an elevator with a guy with a funky haircut, because you know how Bad Bunny does. He does the zigzags and all the things.
Beat of his own drum.
He didn't know who he was.
Yes.
But shortly after, he was like, "Oh yeah, I was on the elevator with Bad Bunny. Had no clue." So crazy.
The more you know.
Crazy how things happen. Stardom, right?
All right, Chris. Let's ask a question.